And good evening, everybody. We are back. Welcome to We Got Next. I'm Rickey Hampton, along with the big fella, Coach Mo, Paul Mokeski, former Milwaukee Bucks center. So good to be back on the air, Mo. It's been a while, and we've missed a lot of stuff.
Yeah, well, we want to welcome you back and everybody that's listening out there. Ricky had some surgery a couple weeks ago. Everything went great, like I told him it would. Just relax, enjoy the knockout drugs, make them give you the good
Oh,
stuff. It's the best sleep you'll ever have, and then everything will be fine in the morning. And it was.
Mo, I mean, you're right about that, man. I mean, I was in another world, man.
I've had 11 surgeries, so yeah.
And, and, and I really appreciate your counsel uh, before going in there. Help me get through this. But nobody wants to hear about my problems,
Yeah,
man.
they do. At
We,
some point, at some point, you make the right decision with the right doctor. You make the right decision, and it's too late to do anything anyway. So just sit back and relax.
yeah, yeah, yeah. If I have to do that again, I'll definitely keep that in mind. But Mo, we definitely want to welcome the viewers back. We missed all you guys, and of course, want to hear your questions and comments. And happy Thanksgiving week to everybody. So it's a lot of stuff going on. But Mo, let's start with our favorite subject, the National Basketball Association. And before we get to anything, here in Detroit, we have the world champion uh, Denver Nuggets in town, and of course, I'm pulling for my Pistons. And our chances of winning, we've lost 11 straight, are much better tonight because the Joker, Nikola Jokic, got kicked out of the game in the second quarter for really complaining to the referee. And we got a nice crowd down at Little Caesars Arena, downtown Detroit. But I got to say, more half the crowd was there to see the Joker. And now he's gone. I'm sure that half crowd is gone too. And as much as I want the Pistons to win, I thought it was a bad call that got him kicked out. He was complaining because he got fouled, and it was obviously he got fouled, and they didn't call it.
Yeah, I mean, at some point, the referees, at least when I played, they knew what the situation was, and he already had a technical for whatever he got it for. So in my day, for Larry Bird or Michael or Magic or any of those guys, even Sidney Moncrief or Jack Sikma, the referees know they have one technical. Unless you push somebody or really, may embarrass the referee, they're not going to give you a key for doing it. How many times do players complain? Every game they complain hundreds of times. And
Every foul.
every foul they're complaining. So come on, man. And the Pistons, are 2-12. They finally get a good crowd. They're coming to see the Denver Nuggets for the only time of the season. And everybody wants to see one of the best players in the world, the Joker, and you kick him out in the second quarter.
Yeah,
That's when the NBA needs to step up, and it was a foul anyway,
yeah.
and suspend that referee. You should suspend that referee, fine him and suspend him. He
Wow.
needs to be held. He or she needs to be held accountable too.
But what about the thing? Oh, he said the magic word. Are there magic words
Um,
that get you kicked out?
Not if you're a superstar and you have one tech anymore. No, you can say whatever the hell you want, as long as you don't push the ref, stand in their way, hover over them, and scream at them. Yeah, come on, man. I mean, not at that point. I mean that's ridiculous.
Do you think officiating has gone down since the days you played?
Uh, Hard to say. I mean, we had legendary referees, and shoot, when I first came in the league, there was only two refs during the game, not three. And there was a substitute ref waiting. And in my opinion, after playing for 12 years in the NBA and overseas and coaching for over 20, I think the game is ref better with only two refs. Because if you have three refs, two things happen. They overlook at stuff and call stuff that doesn't need to be called. They get little self-conscious. Hey, these guys are making calls. I haven't made a call in a while. And the other way is the opposite is they slough off and say, that wasn't my call. That's not my call. That's not my call. With two guys, every call is your call. So, you know, you know, let's just go. You know what? The pool play in the NBA, player-wise, talent-wise, is down for the fact of there's over 100 more players in the NBA than there were when I played.
Yeah.
So the same with the referees, right?
Yeah.
When you add another ref, you're increasing the referee pool by 30%.
Wow, that is a great. Never thought of it like that.
So your talent, you're going to take NBA teams take players now that would never be on an NBA team when I played. We only had 12 players. We didn't have 15, and we didn't have two-way players, and there were less teams. So guys that are starting now would be backups, some of them, and some guys now that are backups wouldn't be playing much, and some guys that are on teams wouldn't be on teams. It's just numbers, right?
Wow, very well said. That is a great freaking point, Mo. That is a great freaking point, man.
Now, I'm not saying that the talent in the NBA is not overall better. You know, of the 8 guys that play, 8 or 9 guys that play, bigger, more physical, more athletic. You know, I don't think their basketball IQ is great. I mean, you see LeBrons and KDs and those guys, Chris Paul's, who basketball IQ is high, but most of those guys, all those guys, you know, 19, 20, 21 years old, they don't have any basketball IQ. They haven't played long enough. So, you know, that's you know, that comes with experience. And you know, I was watching one of the college tournaments. An announcer made a great point. He was a former coach. He said, "You know what? That kid plays really hard, and in today's game, that's a skill. When I played, everyone played hard. You didn't say, wow, that guy played hard. You know, that's a given. Everyone plays hard. In today's game, playing hard is a skill. It's a skill. Basketball IQ is a skill. You know, but playing hard, when is that supposed to, but it is. It's a skill now, you know.
You know, speaking of LeBron, I just want to touch on this. I was reading this before we came in. At 38 in his 21st season, he is shooting the best. I mean, it's just 9 games. He's averaging 28 points, 8 rebounds, and 6 assists. He is shooting 61% from the field. This is the best shooting stretch he's ever had in his career.
So let me ask you this. Do you think he's become a better shooter, or do you think he's been taking better shots because he's smarter now and he doesn't take nearly as many bad shots? I think he's become a little better shooter, but more than that, he knows he doesn't take as many bad shots anymore.
That's why you're Coach Mo, man, because you break that stuff down. It makes total sense. You know, he still shoots threes. In fact, he shoots his 3 pretty good now. But he's taking shots closer to the basket.
I bet he's taking less threes. I bet. Yeah. And making just as many. So you're shooting.
What's up, Steve? Steve's checking in with us.
So, I mean.
Missed you guys.
When I coached, I used to play, you know, I'd run games back and for teaching purposes and all that, scouting purposes. But one of the other purposes was for my own players. I used to show video of a game, and I would play a game called Good Shot, Bad Shot. So I would run the film, and then someone would take a shot, and I'd freeze it. And I'd say, you know, ask them, is this a good shot or a bad shot? And, you know, because some players think that all shots that go in are good shots. That's not true. And they also, a lot of coaches or fans think that all shots that are missed are bad shots. That's not true either. You can make bad shots and you can miss good shots. But what you want to do is you want to take way more good shots than you do bad shots.
Right. Giannis still missing free throw.
Yeah, why do you want to go there, Steve, so early in the show, man?
We just getting started, Steve.
He is driving me crazy with that stupid long routine he does that takes forever. Just keep it simple. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Let it go. Stop it. Driving
Yeah,
me crazy.
yeah, yeah. But Mo, let's get to it, man. Some of your thoughts. I mean, it's early in the year. We got the in-season tournament kicked off. Just your general thoughts of what you've seen uh, so far in the association.
Well, the in-season tournament. Let's focus on that. I kind of like the idea, and I like the idea that because one of my questions was when it came up, how are fans going to know that we're playing an in-season tournament game versus a regular season game on a Tuesday night or a Friday night? When I flip it on the channels, how do I know what I'm watching? Well, they fixed that
No.
number one by changing the uniforms. They have different uniforms. That's cool. The other thing they did is kind of controversial. They changed the courts they play on. So they're really kind of funky. And Ricky, people go look at the 1979 and 82 Bucks and look at the Mecca court. That's what it looks like. That's what the
Mm-hmm.
Mecca court used to look like.
Mm-hmm.
Not as loud colors, but yellow and gold.
Mm-hmm.
But now, so they changed the courts and made them funky and kind of interesting. However, in the long run, I think they went overboard and did it too much color, too much
Phoenix.
glare. So I think they'll make an adjustment. They'll still make them different courts, but they'll just make it a little toned down. But that's the right idea. So, the in-season tournament at first I was like, whatever, but now, and you know what? One of my guys on the Bucks, Damian Lillard, made a great comment this week. Because the winner of the in-season tournament, every player and the head coach gets $500,000. That's $500,000. Now, to us, I mean, that would be winning the lottery, right? But to players like Lillard, who makes $40 million a year, it's not that much. It's like, instead of 500 grand, it's like 5 grand to them in their thought process. However, he made a great point. He said that's true, but ninth, 10th, 11th, 12th guy, two-way players, they don't make that kind of money. So
That's why
500 grand, they're going to get 500 grand. That is life changing for them. You're a two-way player making 250 grand in the G League and going back and forth, and they just give you 500 grand for winning. That means something. So, the money is something that's here in Las Vegas. I love that. Hopefully, some of my friends, I hope Minnesota makes it so I can see Chris Finch. Golden State's stinking it up, so I don't think they'll make it. But it's an interesting concept. It's a European FIBA concept. They do this all the time in Europe. You have like 3 different cups. You have the early season cup, you have the mid season cup, and you have the championship cup. So you compete for cups, and that's what they do over there. So this is a version of that. It takes a little while for people to get used to, but it's really simple. So there's six groups. We call them pools. They're pool play, and they play 4 games in their pool. And the top 6 teams that win that pool are going to move on to the quarterfinals. Added to 2 wild cards that's the best teams that didn't win their pool, and then they're going to play a game, and then the final 4 will be here in Las Vegas. So I think it's pretty interesting. I think it adds something. I think fans can get behind a little more. Some don't like it, some do. Most old school guys like me don't. I do because I like FIBA basketball. But if you're looking at, let's see what we're looking at then. So most teams have played at least 3 of the 4 games they're going to play to qualify for
right.
the semifinals here in Las Vegas on December 7th, and the finals are on December 9th. So in the West, in Group A, the Lakers are winning it are ahead at 3-0, and the Jazz are right behind them at 2-1. In Group B in the West, New Orleans is 2-1, and Denver's 2-1. So they're going to battle it out. Depends on what happens in the last game, who wins that. In Group C, Sacramento is 2-0. Remember, you picked them to win this thing early. You pick Sacramento, and they're showing you true. They're 2-0, and Minnesota's in that pool, and they're 2-0. So they got 2 more games to play. That's going to be interesting. In the East, in Group A, Indiana is 2-0. The Sixers are 2-1. So they're battling for that spot. In Group B, Milwaukee is 2-0 and Miami's 2-0. So it'd be really interesting if they play each other coming down here, because that'd be a 2-for-1. If you win or lose that, it's like winning 2 or losing 2. And then in Group C, Boston is 2-0 and New Jersey's 2-1. So theoretically, you can have Boston, Milwaukee, Indiana or Philly, Sacramento, Denver, and the Lakers. Pretty interesting to me.
And Mo, Steve mentioned the things being crazy in the Western Conference, and we're going to get to that. And I forgot to mention when I talked about the Joker getting kicked out, Mike Malone got kicked out also, which pissed the Joker off. So he's in a nasty attitude too. But
but he got kicked out protecting the Joker, right?
no, he got kicked out earlier.
Oh, he got kicked out before the Joker?
He went before the Joker. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and the Joker was mad that he got kicked off. The refs have not had control of this game.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, to kick a head coach out in the first or second quarter, it's unless they want to go. That's hard to believe. I mean, I played. I coached with Nelly and played with Nelly. I mean, he's had some games where he wanted to get kicked out, and he'll look at the assistant coach and say, "Hey, get ready, I'm going." He'd get kicked out for a purpose. But this doesn't sound like that. This sounds to me like the referee crew is not doing their job at all.
Well, Denver comes to town pissed off. They've lost 2 straight.
Yeah, I mean, yes, but I think they've been on the road too, right?
Yeah, they've been on the road. They're itching to get home. I'm sure. But once again, Mo, you're starting off hot, man. You make some great points about the in-season tournament, and
So Ricky, I don't want to interrupt you, but that game, it's 99 Pistons, 97 Denver with 3 minutes left.
well, we will not win the game. Denver will win it. By the way, your fellow Jayhawk, he's a heck of a young player, Mo. Brown.
Oh, yeah.
Brown.
Brown.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's spelled Braun, but he wants Brown. Yeah.
Man,
he's a tough-nosed defensive guy that can knock down threes, more athletic than people think.
yeah,
They love him in Denver. I went to the G League game here in Vegas with one of the Denver Nuggets scouts that I know, and he was telling me how much they love him.
Well, he's a good player for him. But Steve mentioned how crazy it is in the West, and let's talk about the Western Conference as we get into the evening, Mo. And if I'd have told you that 12 games into the season that the Minnesota Timberwolves would be the number 1 seed in the West, would you have been surprised?
A little bit. I think they're kind of working out the too big deal with Rudy Gobert and Michael and Towns. They didn't really mesh last year. I think they're meshing more. And then what's the young kid's name? Anthony Edwards or?
Yeah, Edwards.
Yeah, I mean he had a great World Cup with Team USA, and he's coming into his own. And they have some players on that team that are better than people think. So, they've got off to a quick start. But, 2 of the teams that I thought would be up there, one is the Phoenix Suns, right? And the other one is the Clippers. I mean, I thought both of them would be buying. I thought for sure almost everybody, when they made the Beal trade, to add up to Booker and KD, they thought the Suns would be the team to beat. And, and the Clippers getting Kawhi healthy, and they made this huge trade with Harden. They're supposed to be up there, but, they're both, way down in the standings. I mean, 10 and 12 or whatever they are. And,
Yeah.
the Suns situation is a little different because KD has played all the games, but Booker's only played 5 and Beal's only played 3.
Right.
So, they
They're
have,
7-6 right now.
yeah, so they're not helping. Okay, so
Yeah.
you can look, if I'm coaching that team, I'm saying, man, we're not playing great, but heck, we have 2 of our best players we haven't hardly played with. So, let's hold on, we'll get better. But if I'm the Clippers, all their players have played most of the games. Paul
Yeah.
George is averaging 24, 6 and 4. Kawhi is averaging 21, 5 and 4. Westbrook was doing a great job, averaging 13 and 7 assists. Zubac is a really good center, averaging 10 points and 8 boards. And then you bring in Harden in the mix, who's supposed to be a superstar, and they go 1 and 5. They finally got their first win with Harden last night.
Let's stop there, Mo. Let's stop there. Because Harden said that he was the system to wherever he goes. He is the system.
And they lose, right? So he's a losing system. Why do you want him on your team? He's the system, and you're 1 and 5. Okay, great. You're the system, and you suck. It's like the system sucks. And the thing is, I think they were 3 and 1 or 4 and 1, and Westbrook was just fitting in. He was distributing to Kawhi and Paul George, and he was playing defense and doing all that. And now you throw in Harden, who guess who's it going to affect? Westbrook. So that's like when I told you that Westbrook didn't fit with the Lakers.
Yeah.
So you're doing the same thing, except Westbrook was fitting in, and now you're throwing Harden in the mix. And I just think that's a disaster. And if I'm the owner of that team and I'm spending $200-300 million a year, and we're in 10th place or whatever place we're in, I got a problem with that.
So Paul, help me here. Does his talent help anybody win games, win championships? His talent helps teams win games.
Yes.
We've never seen his talent make a difference in the playoffs.
No.
Do you think that changes?
Last year he had a great game 5 for Philly, I think, when Embiid was out, and then
45.
had a bust game in game 6. And he's done that his whole career, right? He did that in Houston. He couldn't do it in Brooklyn because he demanded out already. Sometimes there's a reason when you're a Hall of Fame player, right? He's going to be in the Hall of Fame. I mean, he's triple double, all that stuff. One of the best scorers, blah 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 blah. That doesn't necessarily turn into wins, and definitely not playoff wins. I mean, just look at, and there's a reason that teams let you go pretty easily. Now you demand to be let go. You went from OKC to Houston, then had a decent run there, at least personally. You had great stats, didn't really win anything. Then you demand out of Houston to go to Brooklyn, right? And you get with the group you want to be with, and that never worked. Then you demand out of Brooklyn to go to Philly to play with Embiid, who's the MVP, and that doesn't work. And now you demand to go to the Clippers. Come on, man.
And Philly has played his best basketball since he's been gone.
Yeah, absolutely.
And nobody's trying to pick on James Harden here. That's just a fact,
Yeah, I mean, the saying is addition through subtraction. That's true. If you have someone that doesn't fit in on your team, even though he's a really good player, or you have someone that is a cloud, and you always have to deal with trade talks and all this stuff. He's a cloud over the team, even though he's a great player. That doesn't work either. So I've been in that situation before in Charlotte, and we got rid of a starting point guard. And the next practice, it was like the sun came out, and everybody had better attitudes, and we played better. And I'm sorry, but I've never liked Harden's game. Over dribbling, over shooting, makes bad shots, but can make shots and score a lot of points. Great. Lead the league in assists, but the team doesn't win in the playoffs. So, I mean, especially if you already have Westbrook, who's already plugged himself in, who's a ball dominant guard. Now you're just going to bring in another ball dominant guard and think it's going to work out. Egos won't let that. No matter what they say, I'll do whatever it takes to win. That doesn't mean it's really what they're thinking. A lot of times they're thinking, I'm going to get mine and I'm going to get my next contract. But he's playing for another max contract or a big contract, right?
Man, ain't no way in the world I'd give that to him.
Yeah, I wouldn't either, but somebody will watch. Someone will.
Yeah, really.
It's like sometimes young people have bad relationships, and they think, well, I'm going to change that person, and they'll become the perfect boyfriend or girlfriend. And I think that rarely works either. let me give you a clue, man. That hardly works either.
Yeah, goodness, dude. Hey, we're gonna stay in the West, and then we're gonna get to the East because the East is shaping up to be a 3-team race like it was last year, with always keeping your eye on Miami. But I want to stay over here in the West because you talk about the struggles of the Clippers, who are 4-7. Look at the Warriors, 6-8. They've lost 6 straight games, Mo.
Well, they'll deal with Draymond again, right? I mean, they were struggling to start with, right? And they brought on Chris Paul, and he was kind of fitting in, and he's feeling his way. Then Draymond gets his suspension, and that's turmoil. But the big question mark, I think, there's two problems in Golden State. They don't have a big, they don't have a real center to deal with all these other. Let's look at you got the Joker, you got Embiid, you got even AD and LeBron. They're big. I mean, they don't have a big. They're like the 6'8" and under team, playing small all the time. And then there's a guy on that team, Andrew Wiggins, who's a 20-point-a-game scorer, averaging 10 points a game. What happened? Where did he go? They traded Poole, got him out of there. He's got bad attitude. He's got some quotes in there too. Finally I get to play the way I want. Finally I have freedom. Yeah, buddy, you're 2-8. Yeah, you do. Great. Good for you. Not good for the owner. Not good for your teammates. Not good for the coach. Not good for the fans. But it's good for you. So really good. Great. But they get him out of there, and Andrew Wiggins is supposed to step up and be that guy. He's supposed to be the third, fourth guy, and he disappeared last year. I don't know what happened. Personal reasons. He wasn't with the team most of the year, and I don't know what that was. But he has to step up, and they're trying to get Kuminga to play better. He's still young, but guess what, Kuminga, you ain't young anymore. It's like your third year. You got to step up. But in my opinion, their size and Andrew Wiggins is their problem right now.
Hey, Mo, if I'd have told you the Oklahoma City Thunder would be the number 2 seed after 14 games, maybe you wouldn't be surprised if they were up there, but maybe not that high. But what have you seen from the Thunder?
Yeah, I would be surprised they're up this high because they're 10-4 and Denver's 9-4 and Denver's struggling. I thought Denver would be up there for sure. I thought the Suns would be up there for sure. I was thinking either the Clippers or Golden State. So you're looking at OKC at 4th or 5th place, right? Okay. But they're a young team, very, very talented, have one of the best young point guards in the league now. Chet Holmgren is vying for Rookie of the Year, even though it's his second year, but he's playing really well. So it doesn't surprise me because of how early it is in the season. Now, if you're looking at, let's look at this after the All-Star break and see where they're at. That's the true test, But they have the talent. They're really young. I think they might be the youngest team in the league. But they're very dynamic. And guess what? They got nothing to lose, right? They got nothing to lose, so they're playing freely. And that's easy to do early in the season. Once the season starts working and the playoffs start coming into the picture, it gets a little tighter.
I'm gonna get to you about Wimbiana too before we get out of here. But Holmgren, how valuable is that year of just being in the league and watching? Has that helped him on the court, you think?
No question. Let alone at 7 foot, 7'2", whatever he is, I was that. Big guys mature later than littler guys, and so he got a year of maturity under him. But not only that, but he got maturity of going to practice, travel with the team, getting training, seeing the NBA, what it's like. That's all valuable information and experience to have. So that's why I give him a heads up over Wembanyama, because of that year of experience.
Yeah. Steve mentioned Klay Thompson. I do want to go back to that with the Warriors. I mean, we know he's declined. I mean, injuries have robbed him of a little bit. And we've even heard his name as possible trade uh, uh, bait.
Yeah, I mean, Clay is diminishing, but he's also diminishing faster because he's had two major injuries, right? He's had a calf and he's had a knee in the last few years. So, he's rehabbed for the last couple of years. He was probably playing at 70% last year and was playing okay. And this was the year he was supposed to be totally rehabbed and ready to go. But, he's playing okay. He's sporadic. But the problem is, where is Wiggins to help him? Where is Draymond to help him? Clay's probably not supposed to be the second option anymore.
Yeah.
It's Curry, then it should be like Wiggins, and then it should be maybe Clay. And then Kuminga should be coming up in that scenario, and then Chris Paul should take some of that off. But a lot of it is his diminishing. He's getting older. He's been through hard injuries, and a lot of it is what's around him, right? So he's a guy that he can get you 20 points in a quarter, but he can also go a half with 4 points. So
yeah,
that's what he is now.
Hey, Paul, if this team, just speculating, the way they're trying to play, because I totally agree, they're absolutely too small. But if everybody was in their prime years, could they play that way? If Chris was in his prime years, if Clay and
Clay and Trey.
Could they get away with that then?
But I don't think they could still. I don't think they could beat Denver. I don't think they could beat Philly if they got to them. I don't think they could beat the Bucks. I don't. They might be able to beat Boston, but because Porzingis is 7'1", but he's an outside player. But no, I don't. Even if they're at their best, they don't have the size. You need somebody. I mean,
okay.
Look at all the years where they won it. Didn't they have?
They had Bogut, the 7-footer.
Andrew Bogut. Yeah.
Yeah, they had good guys.
Did they have Luke Longley too?
They had Luke Longley. Yep.
That's what you need. You know what? The Bulls were awesome, right? They had Michael Jordan. They had Scottie Pippen. They had Dennis Rodman for a while. You know who else they had? Bill Cartwright. That's who else they had. They had Bill Cartwright, who was a solid center, physical, took up space. You need that guy. He's not your focus. I mean, the Bucks struggle when Lopez is out. You don't need Lopez to score 30, but you need him to be in there.
Now, do we put much stock in these records this early, Mo? We're about 13, 14 games into the season.
It depends on who you are. I mean, the Warriors, they're, no matter what you tell me, I'm concerned because they have no size. Sorry. I mean, you can all get healthy, you can all be playing well, but you have no size.
Yeah, like Phoenix 7-6, they're going to get better when they get healthy.
Yeah, because Beal's played 3 games and Booker's played 5. Yeah, I mean, if I'm coaching, I'm sitting there going, we get these guys back, we can make a run, right?
Right.
That happens all the time. Now, the Clippers, okay, we're gonna get Harden to buy in, and we're gonna get him going, and we're gonna make a run. If I'm Ty Lue, I'm looking at my next job, man. I'm like, I mean, because you're gonna get blamed, but that just doesn't fit. You know, if I'm sitting there in the coach's room, I'm going, okay, great. You know, Harden's here and Westbrook's here. How do we play them? How do we fit them in? You know, because the one bailout now is when Westbrook was with the Lakers, he was making 25 million, right? You got to play him. When Westbrook is with the Clippers now, he's making 2 million.
Right.
So there's not pressure to play him really. But you know, if I'm this early, the difference between the Clippers and the Suns is night and day. But I mean, you can't. You know, usually in the NBA, you take 10-game segments. You got 82 games, take them 10 games at a time, and you try to win. You know, six or seven of those 10, and then you move on to the next group, and then you move on. But at some point, you know, winning 10 out of 10 is not going to help you. So, you know, you're not overly concerned. It's early in the season. Things change drastically, you know, Christmas and then trade deadline, All-Star break. But at the same time, you're a little concerned because, you know, in that 10-game segment, if you go 2-8, now you got to make up for it in the next 10 games, right? Or the next 10 games. Oh, you know, so, you know, you're keeping an eye on it, but by no means is anybody panicking after 10, 12, 14 games, 15 games.
A final from downtown Detroit. Denver 107, Pistons 103. Reggie Jackson shows up and scores 21 points.
What did Brown get?
Brown finished 15 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists.
Good, man. I mean, that's when you have players in a bench, right? I tell you all the time. You know, you're looking at the best starting five. Cavs could have, you know, best starting five is all great and well, but you better have role players back them up. And games like this are so important, right?
Yeah.
So these guys step up and have great games, and you get a win instead of a loss. Huge. Denver's not as deep as they should be either. That concerns me. But yeah.
Yeah, Brown was 5 of 10 from the field, 2 of 2 from 3-point line, 3 or 4 from the line.
And I guarantee he dove on the floor and he took charges.
Yeah. I want to say in the West, man, but the Bucks won 142 to 129 in Washington. Were they playing like it was an all-star game or something?
I don't know, man. I mean, not much defense, I guess. I mean,
I'm like, man.
I mean, you could. That's all well and good, and you can freewheel it, and it's kind of fun at times, but that can get you in trouble too. Because if you can't defend, I'm telling you, like when I was with the Dallas Mavericks and we went to the NBA Finals against Miami Heat, we were one of the best offenses, but we were also a top 10 defense. When the Golden State Warriors won championships, they were one of the best offenses.
They were really good defensive.
They were a top 5 defense. So, you know, you can't just outscore people all the time.
And let's talk about Wemby before we get over to the East. Your thoughts on Wembyana?
Well,
he's had his moments.
What did I tell you a month ago? Do you remember what I told you about him?
Yep, he's gonna have some great nights, and he's gonna have some nights where, like, whoa, what's going on?
Hey, you're listening. I love it, man. Thanks. Yeah, I mean,
they've lost 8 straight, by the way.
He's 19 years old. He's a kid. So he had a game where he had 38 points and 12 rebounds and 5 block shots. The next night he had 12 points, 4 rebounds, and 2 block shots. He's going to be like this, right? So expect that. Pop expects that. He knows. You can see when you watch a game, he never gets on Wembanyama that much. He used to get on Tony Parker and Ginobili, and he used to be merciless on them. But he knows Wembanyama's a kid. He's just learning. The one thing that Wembanyama has is he's got desire. He wants to block shots. He wants to win games. So you got to keep that lit. No matter how many. I mean, after 60 games, let's see how hard he played. Like on a Tuesday night, but you want to keep that going and not discourage him. But he's going to be up and down.
Well, what makes that I mean, I think I know this answer, but just for our viewers out there, what makes this transition? I always say the transition from to the NBA out of college is bigger than any other transition.
I mean, it's kind of like you go high school to college, if you go D1, big change. You know, when you go college to NBA, you know, it's a huge change. And, you know, you got to learn how you learn, right? I mean, my first few years in the league, didn't really know how to travel, didn't know how to take care of myself, you know, eat the right way, sleep the right way, you know. And well, another big thing is I didn't know what to do before games to get ready, after games to ice down and do all that stuff. Also, how to get ready for a season. That's important. You learn how to get ready for a season. So you play 8 to 9 months, and then you have 3 months off, but they're not off. So you take 2 or 3 weeks off, and then you start training lightly. And then after about a month and a half, you're full out training 2 or 3 times a day. So you need to learn what it takes for you to be in training camp shape. And I learned, I had a routine down that I would test myself, you know, 3 months, you know, 2 months to the season. And I knew times and I knew what I could do and how I felt. And as soon as I could finish that routine and not be too, you know, not be just fall out tired, I knew I was ready for camp. But that takes experience, right? And you know, it's a combination of lifting and shooting and running and sprints and some long distance. But you got to learn, you know, what it takes. And the same thing during the season. I mean, you know, you got to learn. Okay, if I get in, say we're on the road and we land in Cleveland at 2 in the morning, I get to the hotel at 3 in the morning, right? So I gotta get to sleep. I had to stretch before that on the plane. I probably had to ice my knees before on the plane. When I get to the hotel, I need to learn how to wind down so I can get to sleep because I know in the morning, you know, I need to sleep from 3 to 10 because breakfast is at 11, so I can get those 7 hours in, and then after that, maybe get a light lift in and then take a nap and then be ready for the game.
Well, you know what? That you hear LeBron talk about that all the time. Man, I'm going to get some sleep.
That your body, you know as well. You know, everybody knows, right? When you're sick, you need sleep for your body to recover. It doesn't recover if you're just laying in your bed and you're not sleeping. It doesn't. It's not the same recovery. It's not. So you know you need sleep. You need hydration. You know you need the right food. You need the right stretching and icing and all that. And you learn how to do that. You know the more you play in the league. And you know, oh shoot. You know, I tried to get up in the morning after a late flight and get a lift in, and I was sucked during the game. I need to not lift in the morning after a long
Yeah.
flight. Stuff like that.
Hey, this is Steve. Bill Cartwright got his '69 Chevelle stolen from the Chicago airport when he played this. So he's still looking for that car.
You're crazy. uh, I had I talked to Bill this summer. He had me on his podcast, and no, he's still doing well. He's still announcing some University of San Francisco games and stuff like
Oh,
that.
well, man, we got to get him on, man.
Oh yeah, we'll get him on. It's kind of hard to, you know, you talk like this, so it's hard to understand. He makes.
Hey, Mo, it's got to be cool, though, man, to see those guys. It has to be like a brotherhood or a fraternity. To see guys you just went to war against, and you could just dap them up now, sit back, have a beer, and just tell war stories.
Yeah, I mean that's like we talk about the Retiring Players Association having their meetings and parties and stuff here during the summer league, and that's all part of it. I mean, you know, you run into guys that you know you had battles with and stuff, and you laugh about it. And you know, Bill and I, we played an All-Star game together in California. He grew up in the San Francisco area. I grew up in the LA area, but you know, so we knew of each other. We went to a couple of camps together, and you know, so you know, you went to USF, I went to Kansas, but you know, we played a lot of games together when he was with the Knicks and with the Bulls, and you know, you just kind of, and you know what? There's no hard, you know, mostly there's no hard feelings. I mean, stuff happened on the court, even with Charles Barkley or Oakley, whoever had altercation with, you know that that never really carried over. You get past it really, really fast. Unless you're a jerk. And then some of these players, I won't say a name or names, but people don't like them to this day.
They were jerks when they played, and jerks when they
Yeah.
jerks now. You
Well,
mentioned Bill Cartwright, man. Think about the University of San Francisco. They had two great runs, of course, when the great Bill Russell was out there. And then when Bill Cartwright and those guys were there, I think that was the mid-'70s. They didn't win it all, but they had really good teams at
it was the
University of
late,
San Francisco.
it was late '70s. He's my year, so he left USF in '79. Yeah.
And
So
then they had another big guy. I can't think of his name.
they had Winford Boynes, who was the
No,
high
he played a
high
little
fly.
bit in the. He played a little bit in the NBA. He was kind of undersized for a center in the NBA. I'm gonna get that name.
So when I was being recruited by everybody, Bill Cartwright had signed with USF real early, and their staff was all over me. They wanted me to play power forward next to Bill as center because I was 7 foot, but I was like 215 pounds. So, and they almost got me with that too. Can you imagine that front line? Me and Bill
Wow,
Cartwright?
wow. Yeah. Did you go there for a visit, Mo?
No. I went to USC, UCLA, Arizona State, Gonzaga, Washington State, North Carolina, and Kansas, and Arizona State. I went to Arizona State.
You know what? This big guy I'm talking about, I think he played at Oregon.
You're Duckworth, or
Not Kevin Duckworth. I'll get the name.
yeah, but yeah.
Let's get over to the East a little bit more before we get out of here, because Steve is worried about his Bucks not playing any defense. But of course, you playing the Wizards. That's like playing the Pistons. You don't just show up; they'll give you the game. And they won tonight, 142 to 129. Giannis had 42 points. I think they know they got another level. And Mo, you played on dominant teams. When you were playing weaker teams, you guys just going there, okay, let's just get this over with. I bet that's what they did tonight.
Yeah, I mean, you still, just try to keep some semblance, but you're going to come out, and sometimes, let's be truthful. I was with the Bucks, great team. I was the seventh, eighth guy, maybe 6, 7, 8, whatever. So when I come up against a game like that, I want to get 15, 18 points. Usually I score 8 to 10 to 12. I want to see if I can get 20. So
Yeah.
that's all part of it, and but once the tempo gets like that, if you're a running team and the team you're playing lets you run, it's hard to slow down. And if you're that good, why? But the thing with the Bucks is, I'm worried about Damian Lillard a little bit because I'm waiting for Dame time, right, at the end, and it only happened when Giannis was hurt, when he won that game and had 34 or whatever. I need him to be more aggressive, and I need Middleton to be back to the old Middleton that he was. Because Portis is going to be Portis, Lopez is Lopez. They got a couple other good fillers there. Middleton has to become the Middleton, because I hear he's on the trade block too.
But I think Steve has a good point about his concerns about their defense.
Yeah, I don't know I don't know. Look up how many points per game are they giving up this year. That's what's truthful.
I can tell you.
Yeah, that's what's truthful. How many is? Remember what I told you? What's most important?
Point differential.
Point differential. Yep. But let me, Steve, if you're still out there, would you trade Middleton for the guy with the Bulls, Levine? Would you do that? Yeah.
Milwaukee scoring 119 points and giving up 116.8. Point differential of 2.4.
Now that's scary. 118 is crazy, but giving up 116, we got a legitimate problem, man. I didn't know.
Compared to Boston, Mo, They're scoring 117, giving up 105, point differential of 11.7. I believe
Yeah,
that's the best in the league.
yeah, that's a concern, and I'm hoping that Adrian Griffin is addressing that. And uh, they had a situation on the coaching staff that was very unusual when when Terry Stotts resigned quickly, and I know both of those guys. Terry Stotts was at Oklahoma. I've known him for years, and then, um, you know, uh, so I was kind of concerned. Maybe he was running the defense. Who knows? And now they got to find their way again. I don't know, but they better
Now,
do it pretty quick because that's giving up way too many points.
and the 2.4 point differential is scary to you.
Yeah, if you're a good team, your differential is between 4 and 6 points. If you're a really good team, it's double digits.
Well, check this out. Miami is 8-5. Their point differential is 0. They're scoring 109 and giving up 100.
So what they're doing is they're winning some close games, probably, right?
Right.
Yeah. Or you never know, like blowouts throw that all around, right? This early in the season, if you score 148 points in a game and you only play 10 games, that makes a 14-point difference in your points per game.
Yeah.
Something like that.
But I can see Miami winning a lot of close games because of their system. They
Yeah.
got Butler, who's
Yeah.
has a knack for that. But the Levine thing is really interesting, Mo.
I know Levine
Could,
is
could,
on this.
could he play with Dame and
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, a couple of years ago, well, maybe more. Shoot, I went to the USA versus Spain game here in Las Vegas, and Spain looked good. And I was watching, and the person that impressed me the most was Levine on that team, and they had all the players. So, I think he can fit in. He's the same. He's the same position as Middleton, right? And Middleton can take 20 shots a game. So is Levine. He's more athletic than Levine. Than Middleton. Middleton's might be able to get off his shot better. But Steve, I might make that trade too. I don't know if it's a reality, but you know, that's my concern with Middleton not stepping up for the Bucks, and and let's face it too about the defensive end, right? They lost one of the best defensive players in
yeah,
the
I was
league,
going to mention Drew Holiday. Yeah.
Holiday. So they lost that and replaced him with Lillard, who's a very small, not known for defense guard. So you're gonna take a hit there.
Yeah. The East looks like the same three culprits: Boston, Philly, Milwaukee.
Yeah.
And right now, Boston is better than all of them because they've been so good on the defensive end. And I think that acquisition of Holiday was huge for them. I think he's an upgrade over Marcus.
No question. Absolutely. No question. He's a same defender. Marcus Smart is a good defender, but he's a different defender. He's longer. He can get steals, but scoring, ball handling, he's better. He's an upgrade. And then you put in Porzingis, who's playing really well. Everybody's like, Porzingis been hurt. Porzingis plays on the outside. But he's 18 and 12 guy. Hello, he's 7-1. Hello. So both that, I like that addition. And then when you add Holiday, that's a handful. Ooh. And then that Williams kid is playing good too. He had a big game the other day.
Man, you still need big men in this game. All you got to do is look at the freaking Joker. You still got to have these guys with all this emphasis on 3-point shooting and whatnot. You still got to have these guys.
The Bucks won the championship with Brooks Lopez 7 foot, Giannis 7 foot, and Middleton 6'8".
Yeah, and Porter's coming off the bench 6'9", 6'10". Yeah.
That's for like the Gold State blows my mind that they didn't pick up a big body. Even Woods that the Lakers picked up late. He's 6'11", he shoots threes, but he's runs the floor, and the Lakers got him for nothing. He's a free agent. I
Got,
don't
got,
know.
got him for nothing. Is it? But before we got him, was there anybody that could sneak in that top three in the East? I mean, you know, Miami's always you always got to keep an eye out for them.
I'm kind of surprised at the Cavs' slow start. They're 7 and
Yeah,
6.
7 and 6. Yeah.
I thought they were going to be up there because, like, I don't know what their injury report is, but they got Mobley, they got Mitchell. I can't remember who the other guard is. He's a top level guard.
Garland.
Yeah, but their guy, the center that they got from the Bucks, went down again. I mean, the from Boston. Uh, can't remember his name. The third.
Uh, I'm looking at their injury report right now. You know, Mitchell's been out.
Yeah, but their big went down again. Season ending knee.
Okay, and Levert's been out.
Yeah. So I mean, could the Cavs get healthy and move up? Yeah. The Knicks are still they're at 8 and 5, and they're defensive and tough minded, and they're talented. They could sneak up. Miami's kind of always around there, but in the long run, the big three are the big three in the East. You know, it's not like
Yeah.
the West. I mean,
In Indiana, boy, they put up some points. They're averaging 125. They're giving up 123.
yeah, you like to play against that team. I get 20 against them right now.
Hey,
But I
before
mean,
we get, I want to go back to the West because I overlooked them, and a lot of people overlooked them a little bit last year. A team to still keep your eye on: Sacramento, uh, 8 and 4, uh, and they had great experience in the playoffs. Came up short against Golden State. What are your thoughts on them, Mo?
I like them. I liked them last year. I like their acquisition of Sabonis. Last year they made a trade. He's a nice big. However, again, they need a big body. Sabonis is 6'9". He needs to play the 4, right?
Yeah,
So they,
yeah.
it's like Bam in Miami playing the 5. I mean, you would like to see him move over to the 4. Then you elevate up to the other teams. So I don't know if there's a trade or anything like that, but their guards are playing well. They play defense. They play at a fast pace. But I still think they need a big body to compete, with the other teams.
Hey, Chris, thanks for checking in, brother. Let you close the night out. Your thoughts on Dame so far, Mo?
Well, I was talking about him earlier. I'm kind of waiting for him to come into his own. I'm really looking for Dame time at the fourth quarter, but it's hard to do when you have Giannis handling the ball and taking a lot of shots. They got to figure that out. They also have to figure out their pick and roll because the most dangerous pick and roll uh, now is the Joker and Murray in Denver, right? No one can guard that. They need to become that. And if they can become that, then I'll feel a lot better. But right now, I think they're still feeling their way. It's hard to say. I mean, giving up Holiday was tough. It was tough for everybody, not only on the court but off the court. And his defense, as we know, is hurting them. But Dame is a guy that, hell, he could shoot from half court. I mean, he could, you know,
And again, it's still with 14 games in. It's
yeah.
still.
So yeah, in my situation, I'm not as worried as Lillard as I am of Middleton coming and stepping up.
And Mo, the Chiefs are up.
Yeah.
Just kicked off the third quarter up 17-7, which here in Detroit, we are very happy to see because if they lose, our mighty Detroit Lions will be tied for the number
Hey,
one spot
we need to make a deal now,
in
right?
NFC.
If the Lions come out here and play in the Super Bowl in Las Vegas, you got to come out with your wife.
Yes, sir.
We got a room. We got your room.
On that.
And you got to go get a ticket somewhere, but you got to come out. That's the deal.
Well, Mo, we're gonna get out of here, man. It is good to be back. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Mo, that was just some great stuff you had tonight. And if you happen to miss early in the show, just go to theleague.com, BLEAV.com. This show and all our past shows will be up there in the morning. I love your take on how the league has evolved, how the officiating has evolved. More players, more officials. The quality may not be what.
Quality of the product is.
But an NBA player would still go to the Y and kill everybody in there all day long.
No, it's not even close. I mean, like I said, I went to the G League game last week, and they have the Ignite here in Las Vegas have 3 first-round picks playing for them. A 6'7" guard, European dude, 6'8" super athletic guy, a 6'10" wing that I really love, but they're not near NBA level right now. And come on, man, come on.
Yeah.
I mean, people out there have no idea. The 12th guy sitting on that bench, on that NBA bench that you're laughing at, could kick your ass.
All right. Well, we out of here. Love you, Mo. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Peace.
All right.
See you next week.